welcome to the 404 Films podcast.
We are in fucking Hollywood, man.
I'm Sai.
I'm Karl.
And today we are here to talk about our top 3 picks.
You're putting on the most American
I
kind of like,
know.
Karl,
Our top three picks of our Halloween movies.
We've been setting up for the last hour, can't you tell by our amazing looking set? We want to start this month off by doing the exact same thing we did in our very first episode, which is coming up to a year of when we did this, which is really...
I can't believe it's been a year. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, but we want to do what we did that first episode, which was do some Halloween picks for movies to watch on Halloween, because if you're bored on Halloween, Halloween's on a Sunday this year, you want movies to watch or treat it like Christmas. All the parties will fall on Saturday though, and you'll be stuck at your gaff on Sunday. Here's a few movies to
have a recommendation. Yes. I haven't seen Carl's list and he hasn't. Have you seen mine? Yeah, you have.
Yeah,
sorry,
totally there off camera, yeah.
Well, I haven't seen any of the films on Carl's list, so they actually are going on my list of recommendations that I can watch over Halloween. And 2, maybe 3 of the movies I've chose mightn't be well known to some, so it could be something you could watch over Halloween too.
Some of them are Halloween movies, some of them are just what make us feel Halloweeny. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it was all said in our first episode. It was a really good episode, people should watch it.
So my first film that I'm going to be talking about is Cujo. And the reason why I chose this film is because I watched this one Halloween when I was a teenager. A few of my friends were kind enough to stay in with me when I was grounded. I remember for maybe 2 years afterwards, I was so scared of St. Bernards. I love dogs and I never would have been afraid of dogs before. But after seeing that movie, something just kind of clicked in my head that, I don't know why, but St. Bernards were fucking scary. Yeah. So every time, you wouldn't see them often around here, so when I would see them, especially up close, they're such big dogs, I'd actually be a little bit afraid because it's just actually so scary. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I didn't like it. Sorry. But I will say that it's more sad to me than anything that the dog got rabified.
Yeah, I know.
Rabies is just a scarier thing to me. It's not really a thing here in Ireland as big as it is in America. No, the whole fact that the dog is friendly and then he gets turned is what's sad,
because he tries to follow a bat in a hole and the bat bites him and then he gets rabies.
A wooden log or something. He pops his head and he gets rabies, and it's one of Stephen King's This Ordinary Thing turned on its head to be horrific, and that's a cool point, but it is limited, I think.
I get you.
Being trapped in a car because of the dog and they're dying of dehydration. No, it's actually a pretty good movie. I just wasn't necessarily my...
I get you. It's I get what you mean. I wouldn't be oh, that was the best film I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's kind of just an average film.
It's really good, suspense, kind of, for lack of a better term, by the numbers, trapped movie. You know those movies
when you're buried alive and stuff like that.
Buried alive, trapped on a ski lift. All those type of films. It's a really good one of them. It's probably one of the earliest ones of them.
Exactly.
But it has the element of the big rabbit, and I think it's one of those ones that makes sense the most. Have you ever seen Frozen? Not the Disney one. The one where the 3 skiers go up after hours and they get trapped in the ski lift.
No.
That movie has some serious problems where it's they have to introduce all these elements to make it continuously exciting. Same with the movie Buried with Ryan Reynolds, which is very alive. There's a part of that where there's a snake in his pants. A snake comes in through the crack in the thing and he has to light it on fire, which is okay, now we're kind of gone into proper...
Exactly, they're etching for other stuff. Yeah, exactly, I get you. That's just why I picked it for this list, because it was something that kind of did give me those Halloween vibes, and it is obviously a classic because it's a Stephen King book. But Stephen King doesn't even remember writing it.
Too much cocaine or whatever. I mean, he did a lot of...
That's what he said. He was I don't even remember writing it. His inspiration for it was he was bringing his motorcycle to his mechanic and the man had a scary dog. He was that would be a great
inspirations are hilarious. Well, Carrie, I think, was his breakthrough novel, but he was the janitor at a secondary school and he found a tampon on the ground and he was I'm going to have to write Carrie now. It's just fuck, I wish I could have the follow through to be a light bulb. I'm exactly. I mean, a novel, I guess, is a lot easier than a film because it's one person.
That's true, yeah.
And then the publishing company, movies, it's all these moving parts. You know what I mean? It's all these other people to rely on, so you can't really do that. But he is still a testament to just cranking stuff out and it like have more good than bad. You know, that kind of thing. So when people say quantity versus quality is not like a thing, I always like, yeah, but like making movies is such a privilege that like if I could continue to make many movies and the majority of them be good like his books, then I would take that as a win rather than being like the Tarantino, I have to make 10 movies and I can only make 10 movies. It's like, why?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like,
It's
until you
restricted.
make a bad one, you know? It's so restricting. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I've only watched it that once on that Halloween night. I wouldn't be pushed to watch it again. There's so many other movies out there that I'd want to watch. I would recommend it if you haven't
say
seen
check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like those ones where you're like, I can't believe they killed the dog. There's even like a joke in Friends where it's like, it's the only movie I've seen where I want the dog to die. Definitely a famous movie. Cujo is a term that a lot of people use. You know what I mean? When a dog goes bad.
It is referenced a bit, I have noticed since I've watched it.
I heard a story about a relative of mine way back in old Ireland who got bit by a rabid dog and went to like some sort of a mountain man to cure it. And it worked, but you know, that's the stories.
Mountain man?
Yeah, that's some sort of more like
Oh my lord.
not so much traditional medicine type. So there you go.
Do you want to start with your one?
Yeah, I'll start with like a Halloween pick. The Guest by Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett. This is a really hard movie to explain. It's not like a horror movie straight up. It's more like an 80s comedy action. You ever seen The Pacifier with Vin Diesel?
No.
Okay, well it's basically, this is the story of The Guest. A soldier comes to live with a family whose son was in his platoon and the son died and they're getting over that debt, and he comes to stay with the family and he ends up helping the family in all these different ways, and he becomes like the younger brother's best friend and just gets on well with the family, and he's like a replacement for their son.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many comedy elements in it, like he beats up the younger brother's bullies and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But then it becomes more and more sinister, and it turns out that he's not who he says he is, and it becomes like an 80s horror movie come action movie like The Terminator or something like that. It's completely like set in Halloween, and it is one of those movies where every scene is almost seeped in Halloween decorations. Like it has to remind you that no, this is a Halloween movie, pay attention. So like in every background shot there's pumpkins. Like even I remember seeing like on some of the Halloween decorations where they have little paper pumpkins in the diner that the main character works.
Yeah.
And like there's a Halloween party in it that is, when I saw that, it's like it's one of those Hollywood Halloween parties where people are dressed up in full costume, but they're all non-copyright costumes. So there's a guy dressed as a cow and all this kind of stuff, like a full costume. When I usually have Halloween parties, and when anyone else would do them, I'd be happy to go to them. But then when you're there, these people clearly don't really give a shit about Halloween, and it's a costume party, which is fair play. Because so many times I've been at parties where it's a costume party, and you'll have some people that are too cool for the costume.
That annoys me so much.
You are cool. I really admire you. On top of that, you go to these people, and they wouldn't even have like a fucking rubber bat or something in their house. And you'd be like, oh man, like just hang up some fucking lights. So it really made me be like, no, I gotta make my house look like this.
Yeah.
So I'd have like all these movie lights going, red gels and all the shit to properly
get the
this kind of vibe.
I'm always striving for that feel on Halloween, to have that like from the movies, to have everything decorated, and just like when I have my own like house sometime, hopefully I'll want to go all out.
Yeah.
Like nearly like Christmas.
Yeah, that's the same vibe, especially for when it's one night. Like I have my Halloween decorations up as long as possible. But when it comes to the party, that's when you start doing shit that's for the party. So it's like you hang up these lights and you put gels on the actual ceiling lights so it shines red and all this kind of weird shit just to keep people involved. And it's cool. I think it's a cool thing to do for parties. It's not just some boring fucking gaff party, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's that extra mile. But it was this movie that was like, fuck, I want to do exactly that. The movie itself, though, it was like, I think released as an instant kind of cult classic that it didn't do that well at the box office, but everyone loves it. It's got Dan Stevens from Downton Abbey, Lance Reddick from The Wire, who I fucking love, Leland Orser. We talked about him in the past. He's the guy that wore the dick sword in Seven, and he kills the prostitute. He's in a lot of stuff. He's a fucking great character actor. But the main character is Mika Monroe. She's from It Follows and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Recently saw her in a movie with Bill Skarsgård, The Villains. Currently on the UK Ireland Netflix.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Is it comedy or horror?
It's a comedy horror, but it's so good. Like I was really surprised. I had it on my watch list for ages.
Yeah.
And I finally watched it like a few weeks ago, and I was taken aback how funny it was. But I like her and everything, but they're great together, especially her and Dan Stevens. The last sequence of the movie is when he's hunting them in their school, and the school in the story has a Halloween dance, but they have to get to it's so like movie logic, non-plausible, like fire hazards. To get to the dance, they build a haunted house in their gym, in their like PE hall.
Oh, right.
What the hell is this?
For the fall dance, they do this Halloween maze thing.
Stay close to me.
You have to go through that to get to the hall for the dance. So when
That's
they
class.
so like when Lance Reddick is there, he plays like the handler of David, the Dan Stevens character, who's this super soldier. When he goes to get them out of the school, him and Mika Monroe have to walk through this maze while he's there coming in, but it's like, you know, a hall of mirrors and stuff. Something that would definitely not be in a secondary school, but it's set up for the movie, and it just, the vibe is there. So it's like if you took that opening of Halloween 4
Yeah, with the...
and just got that and put it all over a movie, is what this movie is.
Okay.
For that kind of Halloween vibe. So it's a classic now for me to rewatch every time Halloween. Not one of those ones that you only have to watch at Halloween. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Halloween and Christmas have that like different rule where you can't really watch a Christmas movie unless it's like Die Hard all year round. However, Halloween movies you can watch whenever you want.
Yeah.
Christmas movie, it has to be, if I walk in and somebody's watching Elf in June, that person has a pretty severe mental illness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll definitely have that on my list because it sounds something that I'd like to watch.
When I first saw the trailer for it, I didn't see this in cinemas. I really disliked the look of it. I thought it looked like some Fast and Furious, stupid fucking... Didn't get the vibe at all. And my brother was the one who was like, no, that looks amazing. You're wrong. And it was this fucking movie show on... Remember that channel 3E? Before it was bought over by Virgin
yeah.
Media? Yeah, so Tree had this movie show where it was the Tree guy. He had like black hair. It was him talking to a film critic that basically said this movie was amazing, and it was like Drive meets the Terminator. Its soundtrack is like synthwave. It's got like, you know that song Antonio, Burn and Breakdown? It's just got like such an amazing soundtrack that I was like, I have to see this movie now. I was gone out of cinema, finally got around to watching it, but it was one that I really should not have judged so harshly by watching the trailer, because it was complete like misdirection or something. Or maybe it was advertised badly, I can't remember exactly, but definitely want to check out. You've actually seen some of their other movies. It's guys who made Your Next and VHS and Blair Witch. Or it's not Blair Witch. Is it called? It's the new Blair Witch.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's called the Blair Witch Project as well, but like there's an extra name to it.
They dropped the project. It's called the Blair Witch.
Oh, the Blair Witch. Yeah, okay.
I didn't like that movie.
I did.
Liked it.
I saw it in like good circumstances. I saw it in the cinema at night.
Mm-hmm.
When the cinema, it kind of goes up and down in waves in Ireland, I feel. This is back in like, when did that come out? Like 2017 maybe? That was when not a lot of people were going to cinema, especially during the summer. And it was just me and 2 other people. And when we came out of the cinema, we were fucking freaked out. Like, it really set the tone really well. So it just depends, like, sometimes where you are for it. But I've always liked the Blair Witch. It always stuck with me as being scary because I saw it when I was really young.
Yeah, it was huge hype over that movie when it came out. It was like even like a hidden... I remember a game came out at the same time with it, and the game was like a secret. They had a fake title until it was released at like some convention, like Comic-Con or something, where they... Oh, we've made a better Blair Witch game. I think it came and went and no one cared, but...
I've never heard it before,
No, they've gone on, 2 of them are like a duo, Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett, but they've gone on to these separate things now. So like Adam Wingard's main thing now is King Kong versus Godzilla. You saw the trailer for that.
Yeah.
And then Simon Barrett did a movie called Seance that I heard is very good, which I have not watched.
No, haven't seen it either. Okay, yeah, so for my second film that we're going to be talking about today is the one and only The Shining, that probably 99.9% people have seen. I chose this because it's obviously like an absolute classic. It was number 1 on the 100 Greatest Scary Moments.
Which is bullshit.
It
wasn't as scary as like The Exorcist.
Definitely not,
The scarier moments like Room 237, is that the right number?
Sorry, what?
Room 237?
Yeah.
That's the right number. That bit is scarier than him putting his head in and doing the Johnny Garcia.
That's actually
It's more
very true.
iconic, but if we're getting scary, we have an episode on that too.
Yes, if you want
Most
to take a
popular
look
episode, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely, because I watched the 100 Greatest Scary Moments, it just is something that's kind of like nostalgic to me, as like when I was a kid I would have seen it, and just I've seen the film like over 15 times, if not more. And I'm sure you've done the same, because it's always on the telly, especially around Halloween as well.
Yeah, it's a definite one to be watched over here.
Yeah.
Like it's usually shown on some channel, you know, that kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
And it got a resurgence with the sequel coming out not last year, 2 years ago.
Dr. Sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Really good. Really fantastic.
That's mad, because I remember when it came out in the cinema, I don't know, I just didn't have like a pull to it, so I didn't go to see it.
It's Mike Flanagan. I was about to say
Oh,
Ming Flanagan,
really?
not Ming Flanagan, Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, because he made the Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really good.
Oh, okay.
Very different than, the Shining movie. You'll have many people complaining about The Shining though, or Dr. Sleep, because they'll be like, The Shining. Actually, and Kubrick did this.
I just thought that that was a great film because it's fucking scary and there's
it's
much
fantastic.
There's so much layers to it. Yeah, there's layers, and that's what I liked about it. And there's arguments about it. I think I made a few arguments in my dissertation about it. Especially, it's actually quite kind of racist, killing Doc.
Yeah, he's the only character that gets killed on screen.
Yeah, Doc gets killed.
And he shows up and gets killed. Yeah, I guess that's a more grander kind of complaint of the black character dying.
Yeah.
There's a documentary about it on Shudder.
Is it?
Noir, where they go into how the black character dies pretty much immediately.
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff, which is interesting. This is just a very good film theory where it's all the Native American one and stuff like
That's
that.
what I was just about to say is because it wasn't in the Stephen King book. Oh, another Stephen King I've done.
Yeah.
You
forget when you're talking about the movie because it's not like the fucking novel.
Yeah, it's not like the novel.
Yeah.
And in the novel, it wasn't mentioned that the Overlook Hotel was built on Native Indian burial grounds. They just added that into the script. That's seen as kind of culturally inappropriate.
If it's definitively them saying that the ghosts are because of the Indian burial ground, the lack of a better word, but it's their words, not mine.
Yeah.
Bryce is not in the book. I haven't read the book because I think King has used that trope before. Amityville used it. I'm pretty sure that's Amityville horror. It's in Amityville, but
it is one of those tropes that they just blame it on an Indian burial ground.
Yeah, and I guess it is very offensive in regards to that. You'll think that you'll be cursed because of it. Again, I'm not qualified to answer that question. There is a very good theory about it where it goes into that, and then he uses a German typewriter or one that used in World War II or something.
Oh, I
you can
see.
see it all in that fucking terrible documentary Room 237.
Yeah, it really wasn't good, wasn't it?
Oh my Christ! I fucking watched that with my brother once. We rented that, but it's a series of horror movies to watch a marathon, and put that one on first. And I think we watched it just open jawed. How it starts with this film theory that's oh, this is cool. It's about. I wouldn't necessarily say it's racist. I'd say that your man's it's about race, and it has a racism kind of theme in it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then it gets to them making these wild accusations to the point where these become film theories, and then they turn into conspiracy theories. The whole thing, he says that he faked the moon landing, and I fucking love his point in it, where Room 237, if you take out the R in room and replace it with an N, moon, and there's
another one.
The moon landing. It's that you can't do that. That's not how a conspiracy theory works. But it's if I jumble up the letters, add these 6, take away that one, then it really makes my point very clear.
Exactly, yeah. There was a few arguments about that. That one argument I read was just full on saying that Stanley Kubrick had in the background when Doc and Danny are chatting, there's canned food behind them, and it's Langs or something like that. There was a reference to the moon landing or something, and this person was saying this was Stanley Kubrick's apology for faking the moon landing, and Room 237 is also the amount of kilometers or miles between the moon and the Earth, 237,000 miles or something.
Yeah, and then the food one actually was all Native American branding, so it made sense for the other guy's theory, not for his theory. And then there was another woman that said that background images that made it look like my fucking favourite one, other than the Moonrum one, is that it was this. I think again, it's been a real long time since I've seen it, so I'm probably misquoting these and getting them a bit wrong. But one of them said that they were all sex-obsessed ghosts in it. Because the bear, the blowjob bear.
I always forget about the blowjob bear.
I love that part. It's fucking
so
great.
Fucking
it's
random.
So disturbing.
I always it goes out of my mind because it just doesn't make sense to me in it.
It's they were having mad orgies there, and they were furries before they were furries, and I was I like that idea, and it is oh fuck, what the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the bit when the manager introduces himself to Jack.
Yeah.
And the way the shot lines up, that he has he goes in front of his desk to shake his hand, and the way it lines up with that he's wearing black trousers, that he's got this black folder or something that makes it look like he's this long rectangular hard-on. And I was
what?
And then I think that's unfortunate bit of like hilarious, like just a hilarious little tidbit rather than like there's like he's obviously got a hard on. You know what I mean? He's got.
Yeah.
It's just like what the fuck is going on? What is this movie?
Yeah,
you know?
and like there's so much. Like I think The Shining is nearly one of the most looked into films ever made.
Yeah. Anything by him is far too.
It's
overanalyzed to the point where you're almost like.
Come on, they were writing scenes while on set.
Yeah.
And then there's some people say like Stanley Kubrick was spent like 7 days on this one shot. You know the shot of the blood coming through the the elevators. That was done I think on a miniature set. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know because obviously there's so much mixed information out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I'm so confused, but apparently there's a scene in that. I watched a full 10-minute long video on YouTube about that when the blood flows through in the elevators, something flops out as well, and there's like a whole 10-minute analysis of that. Yeah, something I don't know what it is, and people are like, oh, it's the typewriter, it's this, it means this, and then some people were like, I think it's just the pipes for the blood.
Yeah,
come on, like
it's cool to add these things for mistakes, but at the same time, it's like you really are like.
But people are adamant that Stanley
had everything
to a T.
Yeah,
I don't know if I believe that, because if he was still writing the script on the days that they were filming, like...
I know he changed stuff and he wasn't really meticulous, and I believe all that, but I think people gave him way too much credit in regards to the little things where it's like, the reason why, you know, this cup is there rather than
instead of there, yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, maybe he planned that, but then also you're talking about how it ties into World War II. And how he was a genius for doing it. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what a fucking fever dream of a film. Like, Jesus Christ, marijuana is a fucking powerful drug for some of these films here. It's like, that movie is a... I was about to say a disgrace. It deserves to exist, but...
No, it does.
Bonkers fucking people in that Room 237 documentary for... Like, that shit is what kind of makes me hesitant to dive into behind the scenes stuff of The Shining that's not behind the scenes.
Exactly, that's not done by the actual filmmakers who were on set.
Yeah.
I know, I don't know, there's just something about, I think it's more the fans of the Kubrick fans and stuff that kind of put you off, like puts me off a little bit of it. There was one more thing. Oh yeah, you know the end photo, you actually have it up there.
Yeah.
We'll place it in, but the end photo of Jack Nicholson at the end, like with like the crowd behind him, he's like kind of standing like this or like this, and people say that it's like the devil, like his character was like metaphor for the devil. So in that last scene of him, that he's standing like the devil in tarot cards.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That could be right. I don't know enough about tarot cards to
me neither,
make that assumption. Why was this Halloween to you? Just because it was on Halloween and
yeah, I would have watched it on Halloween when I was a kid, and I think it's something that you can throw on, especially at a Halloween party. It's actually something that is kind of the staple of Halloween, that you just put it on at a party.
It's a bit meandering where you could just kind of turn and be like,
exactly,
nothing's happening. And, oh Jesus, he's giving him a blowjob.
Yeah. But you don't even have to be watching it. You just have it on the background while people are chatting, because most people have seen it. They're not going to
know how it's going to end. He's going to break through the door. And if you haven't seen that, you've seen the Simpsons parody. Simpsons episode also, our podcast really good. Yeah, I agree. I did that with Suspiria for one of my Halloween parties where I had it playing in the background so you could turn and be like, what's going on? And then, oh fuck, what's going on?
Okay, so what's your second pick?
Sleepy Hollow from 1999, my first of two Tim Burton Johnny Depp movies. Only the third collaboration between the two of them, which is crazy to think, from 1999 because of the amount of times they worked in it. I think over like 10 times or something. It's the story of, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
Ichabod Crane goes to investigate, but this is a much more actiony. He's not a teacher. I haven't read the original story, but he's not a detective. This one, he is a detective sent from New York to investigate it, and it's very movie-esque where it's like it's got action set pieces. It looks amazing, but it's just fucking filled with gore. And like those old Hammer movies with the blood that's really bright, Kensington gore. It's got that. It's got Christopher Lee in it. It's actually got a really, really good cast. Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, Casper Van Dien, Michael Gambon. Fucking Christopher Walken plays the Headless Horseman when he has a head. And he has no dialogue except he yells a lot, and he's really good in it. Like, he sharpens his teeth. To like the story of the Headless Horseman, I think it ties back to the actual original story, is that he was a hired German mercenary during the War of Independence by the British, and they cut off his head or whatever, so he doesn't have any dialogue because Christopher Walken can't speak German, but he just yells, and he's so like ferocious that he sharpened his teeth to make them weapons. And he's not really the main bad guy though. There's like a witch subplot with Miranda Jane Richardson. It's just it's so Halloweeny. It was one of those movies that I had when I was younger that I would really hold up as one of the earlier influences for me, like liking movies, where it was a VHS tape of this and Hocus Pocus, where I watched them a lot. And the opening, the whole setting is gothic early America, so that to me is Halloween anyway. But the opening is that a guy is going on his in his carriage, and his driver is killed, decapitated, and then he jumps out of his carriage into a cornfield where there's a scarecrow with a pumpkin head, and he gets his head cut off and blood spatters over the scarecrow over the pumpkin, and then the title card comes up, and that to me is just
Perfect.
Halloween. That to me is Halloween to a T.
Okay.
And other than that, it's just a really great movie. Like Johnny Depp in it, I really like Johnny Depp as an actor. I think he gives great performances. He gives this really timid, obviously it's the Tim Burton movie, a very pale kind of performance, but Christina Ricci is really good in it, and they have a really nice relationship in it. Johnny Depp wanted to do all these mad things that like the studio were like, no way, you can't do that, where he wanted to have like a long chin and a big sallow face, because that's how Ichabod Crane is meant to look.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we're paying for Johnny Depp, we want to see him in all of his glory. But it has a really kind of interesting history. It was never meant to be an Oscar-winning movie. It did win an Oscar for art department, but it like was going to be a slasher movie. Kevin Yeager, the special effects guy, he made like Chucky.
Oh, okay.
Animatronics. He wanted to make this, he pitched the story, wanted to make it a low budget slasher, and they were like, no, it has way too much potential. And then they hired Tim Burton, he got demoted to just special effects. But I think the reason, yeah, it's a pretty fucking shitty deal, but I think the reason why is he went to make Hellraiser 4. He's in the long list of people that Harvey Weinstein fucked over, and he took his name off Hellraiser 4. It was his first kind of directing a big feature. They put a pseudonym on it. He said, I want my name off this movie because it's shit. Harvey Weinstein fucked him over, and that's why I think they decided, let's get Tim Burton in for Sleepy Hollow and not Kevin Yeager. But
no way.
Really good. Ray Park plays the Headless Horseman, who's like a famous stuntman who played Darth Maul and shit like that. So the Headless Horseman does these mad acrobatic things throughout it. I'm surprised you haven't seen it because it is kind of very kind of, for lack of a better word as well, like a Hollywood kind of mainstream kind of scream movie, you know? And I guess it's kind of forgotten now though. I mean, the movie's over 20 years old. It is really worth the time to check out Halloween. Like I watched it last year as well, and it I think I mentioned it last year in our last episode as an honourable mention, but no, really, really fantastic movie.
It has been on my list for ages. I don't know why, I just am familiar with the trailer or like how it's going to look, so I guess now that you've been explaining it, I'm like, it sounds like something that I would want to watch. So
yeah, no, I mean, watch it if you're just like into gore and stuff. It's definitely where people watch it because they don't shy away from the violence and stuff in it. You know, pretty out there with some of the shit that they do. Like he kills a kid at one part. You don't see him get decapitated, but you do know that he dies, and some good spooky scenes. I think it has a great jump scare moment. To describe it after you've listened to it, he goes to visit a witch in the woods, and it was one of the things that used to freak me out a lot as a child because her eyes pop out of her head. It looks goofy now, but they fly around the screen.
Yeah. But, that's why I wasn't really that arsed to watch Sleepy Hollows, because I always just assumed it was a kids movie.
Yeah, I think the Disney one, there's a Disney animated one. This is not like any of the others because they've changed a lot, and it's actually a supernatural movie. While the original story, and I could be wrong because I'm going off the Disney animated short, Ichabod has a love triangle with the girl who Christina Ricci is now kind of filling in for, and then there's this asshole character who lives in the town who she's also, I think, engaged to, and he just scares Ichabod away, and then he ends up marrying her. And that's pretty much the end of the story. That happens in this movie, but then the asshole character played by Casper Van Dien gets split in half, and it just becomes like an adventure horror movie. Really good. Really good.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out, and you should too.
5. I believe you have a third movie picked.
Yes, I do. My third movie picked, I think you've seen it before, is Alice Sweet Alice, made in 1976, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, basically the reason why I picked this film is because it also reminds me a lot of Halloween, because I dressed up as the little girl from Alice v. Alice.
Yeah.
Actually, well, she wasn't really that little. She was actually 19 at the time.
Isn't she? Oh, I was going to spoil the movie. I won't spoil the movie. It's the non-Italian
Giallo film,
movie,
yeah.
but I think it's made by an Italian, is it? Or
See-
I could be wrong. It's very violent, but not as kind of in that kind of, oh, look at how like pretty it looks like in a Giallo movie in Italy. It's pretty.
It's very-
gruesome, like people getting
yeah.
beaten to death with bricks.
And it's actually on YouTube if you want to watch it. Some film
And on
site
Shudder.
put it up. And on Shudder. Alfred Soul, sorry, that was not hard to.
That does not sound Italian either, so
No.
I think I'm wrong. Yeah.
Or it could be Alfred Soleil. Soleil is son in.
I'm not going to commit to him being Italian until we know.
Paula E. Shepherd is plays Alice.
Set in like the 1940s, is it, or something?
It is set in the 1960s, but
Okay.
also there's like loads of things that there was like the JFK
there's
calendar in the
posters
background and
shit.
stuff. That's
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
1961, but it was actually it's set in 1960, and it was originally called Communion. I don't know if you
It's very Catholic Church heavy.
exactly, but
yeah.
they changed the name to Alice Vidal because they actually didn't want it to seem really religious because it wasn't. It was just an element in
It
it.
wouldn't sell, I suppose.
No, definitely,
I
especially-
think it's a very strong element in it. It's very heavy on, like, isn't the
Being a church and stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
everyone wants to ride the priest.
yeah, it's actually kind of
And
weird.
there's a paedophile in it too.
And the paedophile was actually played by just like a bouncer.
And the paedophile is not the priest. So there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
but the priest does have a weird relationship with Brooke Shields in it, and she's
yeah,
like 12.
with like a lot of the women, and even the man seems to be kind of like she covets him a bit or something. Like she wants to get with the priest.
It's good to see you.
Mommy said you wanted to see me.
Oh, did she now? And now, why would I want to see you?
You know.
Now, did you make a good confession?
Oh, yes, Father.
Auntie's a bit of like a mad, like one of those.
Controlling kind of.
Hey,
I remember her being like again, it's been a while, but she was kind of the one that was the main front of like being kind of like a bitch about like, no, it was definitely her. It's the murderer this entire time. She's crazy, and
Yeah,
you know. Then of course there's twists, but it's basically a whodunit American Giallo type movie. It's like a very special slasher movie.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
and like it's different. It wasn't like the other American horror films that were being made at the time in the 70s.
Yeah.
It is different. It's quite low budget because I don't know if you noticed that the film is really like grainy, like
Yeah,
really
yeah.
super grainy, kind of hard to make out.
Like
some
16 millimeter or something.
Exactly,
I
yeah.
don't know enough about film.
Yeah, I don't know what
I
they shot it
should,
on.
yeah.
I didn't look at what they shot it on, but yeah, it is just low budget. It was inspired by Don't Look Now, obviously, because
Yeah.
the jackets and stuff that they
Sure,
wore in it, the
yeah,
yellow
yeah.
jackets. And there's this like creepy mask that she gets. They were available, like widely available, like for
You can still
Halloween
get- You can
costumes.
still get them. They
You
have-
can still, yeah.
There's two
I
different
had one.
versions, a man and a woman.
Yeah.
The female one is in the movie. It's a really, really iconic look. Like,
Yeah,
a
it's
very
really-
iconic
but-
killer.
The first time I had seen it was in that movie, and then I actually found the mask in just like a joke shop or something. But like, I've never seen anyone wear them or anything like that. I've never seen it dressed up as a costume. And when I dressed up I went to the lighthouse to see actually The Shining that Halloween when I dressed up as Alice, and no one knew who I was.
When do people get like kind of specific Halloween costumes though? You know what I mean? Sometimes you really have to be with a room full of like film nerds to be like, oh my god, you're going as Alice,
Yeah.
or like, I don't know, the twins from The Shining. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see,
Some of them are more kind of, you can look at it. That one I will say, give people credit. That's a deep cut.
That is,
And that's,
yeah.
you know, I would like, you'd have to get somebody who really is a film fan to get that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Yeah, no, it's easy enough to find out. I remember, I think I watched it first on YouTube, so yeah, definitely check that one out. If you like Giallo movies and or just slasher movies, it's I don't know, I can't remember if it's slower or not. I remember kind of being taken aback with kind of how fast paced it was and how it
Exactly.
pretty much keeps going. And
It's more jarring in a sense, like, you know, when Brooke Shields goes in to find her sister it's at like the first 10 minutes of the film, and she finds her behind like in this like weird garage type place, and Alice is behind this like hanging light or something, or behind like a slidey weird door thing, and she grabs her and then rips off the mask, and it's like this old like distorted face.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Terrifying.
Where are you? Why are you running away from me?
Didn't I tell you never to follow me?
Where's my dog?
I've seen that on
I always forget about that.
documentary. Yeah,
Yeah.
a slasher documentary. That's where I saw a lot of the the imagery from. But yeah, that is a great scare actually.
It is,
Yeah.
and because you don't expect it,
Yeah.
because you just expect like maybe the sister to come out and kill her or something
Yeah.
like that. But you see this terrifying face.
Scooby-Doo moment.
Yeah,
It's a
like-
mask within a mask within
Yeah.
a mask. Yeah.
Comes out of nowhere. It's like nearly like an alter ego of the child, you know. Because Alice is jealous of her older sister. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, are you gonna spoil it?
No, I'm just saying
Okay,
she's
yeah.
jealous of
Yeah,
her older
yeah.
sister. Because the older sister, who's played by Brooke Shields, is always getting like all the attention off like the priest because she's
Yeah,
doing her
yeah, yeah.
communion. And what is weird is that actually like even the trailer gives Brooke Shields more attention. Like it's interesting that in the film, like the two characters are sisters and the little sister is upset because she's not getting any attention and she's jealous. But also like in real life, everyone gives so much credit to Brooke Shields even though
She's a bigger name, I guess. in the
yeah,
long run.
but that was her film debut. Like that
No,
wasn't
but
even
are you watching a trailer made nowadays or made back then?
back then. I
Because
think it was because it was like Brooke Shields, her film debut in. Okay, maybe it was made like 10 years
Yeah,
after.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I just find it interesting that they really pushed her forward, and Paula E. Shepherd was she
the
was the
fact that
main
you
girl.
struggled with her name there, I get why they kind of stopped a bit, you know, because
Yeah.
she hadn't gone on to do much, I guess.
No,
it's-
she
it's a
stopped being
matter-
an actor. She acted in one more thing, and then she went on to do something else.
I guess it's just a matter of who to sell and who's the bigger
Who's
name,
gonna
you know?
who's gonna sell the film? So that's fair. Okay, and don't you have one more film that you've on your list?
Why, yes, I've. My third one is another Tim Burton, Johnny Depp one. It is 1994, Ed Wood. So this movie, to me, is a big Halloween one because of, it's just about, Ed Wood, the director who made Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is meant to be the worst movie ever made, which it clearly isn't. But
Okay.
it's the one that, people tripping over cardboard tombstones and everything. But he has a really interesting story because on top of all this, he just loves movies. He loves monster movies. But also on top of this, he's a transvestite.
Mm-hmm.
And the story, the movie, is just about him making, it's like over the Space of Tree movies, Glenn and Glenda, which is his sex change operation movie,
Okay.
and The Bride of a Monster, and then Plan 9. But all of them include Bela Lugosi, because he was such a big Bela Lugosi fan, and he kind of revitalized his career. But Bela Lugosi did not make it to Plan 9. He died before it, and they used remaining clips of him, and then they got Ed Wood's girlfriend's chiropractor to do like a Bela Lugosi kind of thing, because he looked like him from the top half up.
No way.
But the movie is really feel good, to me anyway. It's all shot in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And it's all just about this guy who's so dedicated to movies that he won't stop making them, even though people constantly say they're bad. You don't even get to see Plan 9's reception. You know what I mean? Where people said it was the worst movie. It's all about the build-up and how good he feels making the movie.
Oh, okay.
And how, like, all these group of people, like a wrestler and, like, a drag queen, and all these came together because they liked this guy and believed this movie. And it's really kind of sweet. And to me, it's Halloweeny because it is this black and white gothic. It was between Ed Wood I was going to pick for this list, or the 1932 or 31 Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr.
Yeah,
Because I like those gothic movies, but this one, it's all about him working in Hollywood as like a really low tier, I can think, prop guy of like, move this plant from here to, to there.
Yeah.
And he looks at all the stock footage and he's like, man, you could make a movie about each bit of stock footage. So his movies have like random pieces of stock footage, and he'd get like a squid in his movie because there's a prop for a squid, but there's no motor to run the squid. So you have to wrestle with the squid and all this kind of stuff that you get to see. And it's just really kind of, I don't know, I keep saying it's sweet and everything, but it really is. It's really nice because it's not about his life. It cut out all the depressing stuff. I think he became an alcoholic and he made like some softcore porn after this movie and everything. They don't talk about the kind of more sinister stuff. Other than Bela Lugosi's heroin addiction, I think it's heroin or it's morphine. They kind of fucked up his story though as well. It's more of like an idea of his life story rather than
right.
this is exactly what happened.
I get you, yeah.
But the cast is fucking stacked as well. It's Johnny Depp, Sarah Jessica Parker as his old kind of girlfriend, Patricia Arquette plays his new girlfriend,
Yeah.
Martin Landau is Bela Lugosi, Bill Murray, loads of different people. Jeffrey Jones, I think is his name, is sadly in it. He's the paedophile from Ferris Bueller. Actually known to be a paedophile. He was in Sleepy Hollow as well, so, be warned if you're going to get pissed off because he's in it, but he's not still making movies. But, he's the principal that chases Ferris Bueller throughout the movie. kind of funny now, and not funny, but kind of fucked up in hindsight. when you think
Yeah,
about it, you know?
Jesus Christ. I didn't know that he was a
Yeah,
pedophile.
no, yeah. And then he was also in Beetlejuice, which could have been on this list as well. Beetlejuice is another Tim Burton, but another Halloween. Anything by Tim Burton, I think you can feel falls
classify
into
as
a
Halloween.
A lot of them
yeah,
do.
definitely.
But,
Just a side note, I wanted to choose Halloween. I'm sure you did too.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the point in choosing the Halloween franchise if we've just like spent a whole one podcast talking about it?
Yeah.
So you can go check that out as well. But that would have been one of my picks
Yeah.
if we hadn't
they'd be
talked
like
about
a
it before.
real obvious kind of choice that
Yeah.
we kind of covered last time as well. We said that's why we didn't pick them first. We're doing a whole podcast on it, but that's
Yeah, exactly.
you're not gonna fail with
hitting it.
those movies. There was a few that I left out. Not to go off this though, there's a great cameo by Vincent D'Onofrio at the end of it, playing Orson Welles, that gives him this pep talk, but he's voiced by Maurice Lemorty. I don't fucking know. He's the guy that plays Brain from Pinky and the Brain. Remember that old cartoon? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very cool to see him in this little cameo doing this, and he gives him his pep talk to go finish his movie, which is Plan 9. It's kind of in the same vein as
Tommy Wiseau, yeah.
I can't remember, The Disaster Artist. No, I never
Yeah.
saw that movie yet. That looked terrible, you know, but
The Disaster Artist.
yeah.
I actually really liked
It
it.
wasn't, I watched it too late to, like, everything came out about James Franco, and I was like, I don't want to fucking watch that movie.
yeah,
Like,
fair
and he also
enough, yeah.
annoys me a lot in that movie, like, his depiction of,
Tommy Wiseau.
it seems
is
like
a bit-
it's a meme and not like an actor. He's not doing it seriously, you know? So,
yeah, it's
but-
because Tommy Wiseau is a person as well. You know, he can.
Well, yeah, just play him though, like, you're trying to play him seriously, not as like he's a walking joke. The guy is weird and he sounds weird and he acts weird, but like he made the movie and he cast himself as it to be like, oh no, I'm playing him. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's gonna be funny. It's like, no, just cast a good actor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And not that, you know, like, I'm sure there was lots of good actors considered. Or no, actually, there wasn't even. James Franco probably did it just to be selfish. You know what I mean? To be like, I want to play this character because I'm gonna make it a joke.
Yeah.
And that whole movie, it has like a one bit of turnaround where it's like he walks, I've seen the ending where he walks out of the screening of the room and he gets convinced that the movie is good because it brings people happiness and all this shite. Same vibe with this movie, but it's not as, like, it's not hammy like that, you know what I mean? You don't even see that aspect of the film. It's more about, look at how these guys have worked hard to do this. And the whole thing that Tim Burton wanted was, let's not make fun of people that were probably ridiculed the majority of their lives.
That's so
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
these people already were told that they're the worst actors ever, so like, why fucking would I want to watch a movie where you're just
We're laughing at them.
no,
Exactly.
fuck
That's
that.
what was kind of a bit distasteful about The Disaster Artist was
Right.
James Franco doing that about Tommy Wiseau. I know he met up with Tommy Wiseau about it. And
Seems
like,
more of like a manipulation
it
thing.
was,
though,
yeah. It feels like it wasn't as like, you know, they're not mates basically.
No, it seems like somebody's getting used and everyone else can see it by that person.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're going to make this movie with or without you. Because it's not your book and we could change the names if we need to. But, you know, that's pretty much what's happening. And that's what's going to happen. Which is just fucked up. What a nice way to end the podcast. No.
God damn it, James Franco,
Yeah.
you ruined my night.
Definitely want to check out for Halloween as well.
All the films on your list are definitely ones I'm going to check out this month. They all sound down my alleyway, but I just haven't. Down my alleyway.
Alleyway.
They all sound down my street, but I just haven't actually watched them.
Down my street is also strange.
It is, isn't it?
Up my
alley. Isn't it?
Yeah, up my alley.
Up my, they're all up my alley.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I've wanted to watch those type-esque films for a while.
Any runners up? Just like, shooting them off, yeah?
Yeah, Dracula 1931, the Bela Lugosi one.
Yeah.
That was one that was going to be on my list. Frankenstein, yeah. Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, what kind of better than the first one?
Yeah, Death Becomes Her. I only watched that recently. I
love
love
that. It's
film.
a zombie movie, you know?
Yeah, and it's a comedy as well. Like, it's not that scary.
Trick or Treat. That was
Trick or
another
Treat.
one that I came close to putting on. That was like a new classic, or new. It's like 10 years old. Little Vampire, yours.
Little
not
Vampire,
mine.
yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
seen that in years, so I can't vouch, but I'm sure it's fine. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, another one of Scooby-Doo's for last year.
And all of the Irish advertisements for drink driving.
Do people put Harry Potter as a Halloween movie? That's because I know them as Christmas movies, but
I know them as Christmas movies
would they
as
be
well.
considered Halloween movies because it's witches and?
I think a lot of people see it as Christmas movies.
I do
but
too.
I'd be
I
interested
watch
in
them at Christmas.
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing what people's opinions are, if they're Halloweeny or Christmassy
Yeah.
for them. So yeah, that's basically us wrapped up on our top picks for Halloween this year. Thank you so much for watching.
Watch it because, you know, it's a video now. We're doing video. It's not just a podcast.
Yeah, so you can
know,
put
it's
our
like-
faces on when you're getting ready for work or something like that, or if you're working from home, you can put us on the table.
On the table.
On the
Follow 44 Films at 44 Films on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at Karl and you can follow Saidbh on Instagram at.
The silver screen.
Thank you and good night.
That was very. Thank you, and good night.
Yes, that's I'm just wrapping it up and I'm talking so I can fade out.